So this GT Super Saiyan Vegeta from the World Tournament, his EZA kind of made him look like an anniversary unit. Let me quickly explain. So for his passive skill, he has attack and defense 120%, gets 60% attack and defense when performing a super attack. Now, this is like the 7th anniversary units where they guard all attacks for 1 turn from the start of the turn. And then this is kind of like a miniature version of the 8th anniversary Super Saiyan for Vegeta and Goku, which is if you're the first slot attacker, you get more defense than attack, which in this case, he gets defense plus 80% and a high chance of guarding all attacks. And if you're in the 2nd or 3rd slot for this guy, he gets more attack than defense. In this case, he gets an additional attack plus 40%. So those are the similarities of the anniversary units. But then he also gets an additional attack plus 80% when performing a super attack and medium chance of critical hitting if there is another Shadow Dragon Saga category ally attacking in the same turn. For his SA mechanic, raises attack for 1 turn and raises his own defense by 30% for 6 turns. So hopefully he stacks really nicely. And he's an all types leader actually here for 3 key and 70% stat boost. Here are his stats, which is 14,000 HP, 13,000 attack, and 9,000 defense, which are all very good. Thumbs up for that. So with that said, let's bring him into battle and see how he performs. So for our leader skills, we are running a 130% leader, being the STR Margin Vegeta at the end here. And then the friend leader is going to be the Int Margin Vegeta, which is a 200% leader for Vegeta's family that are in Gifted Warriors. This is his start of turn defense. It's 96,000 defense. Now, in the first slot, he gets 80% of that. And then he raises defense for 6 turns. So we'll see how much he stacks here. We will put him in the first slot for now. Doesn't really matter here. 3.69 million attack stat as a first slot. Not entirely bad. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse. He even does an additional, which is good. He does get the 80% attack when with Shadow Dragon Saga, which we do have, which is the physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Kind of awkward to run him next to the Vegeta. I only brought him along because he supports tech types for extra attack. That was the sole reason. Nothing more than that. The problem is with linking partners, he doesn't have anybody linking well with him that is in Shadow Dragon Saga. Of course, he's got like good linking partners with Vegeta's family stuff, as he has Royal Lineage and Super Saiyan, stuff like that. But none of them are in Shadow Dragon Saga, which is quite unfortunate. And most of them are not even GT as well. His best linking partner is like the Super Saiyan GT Goku, but that's not a combination you'd usually run, as Goku needs a space traveling warrior, and Vegeta here is not a space traveling warrior, which is... it's very awkward right now. I think they made a lot of these World Tournament units really awkward and very specific, in my opinion. His defense grew, though, 150,000. That's actually a quick, big bump. And then in the first slot, he actually gets a decent amount of defense, which is not too bad. It's hard to say what position he's better in, because he gets 60% attack and defense when performing a super attack. And then if you put him in the first slot, he does have a high chance to guard. It's just that his starter turn defense is not that impressive enough. So risk the high chance to guard majority of the time. Let's see what he can... I mean, this is Legendary Goku event, so tanking wise is not that difficult. 3.6 million attack stat. We will check him out once we get a good rotation on the turn to see how much attack he has in the 2nd or 3rd slot. I would say for sure you could risk putting him in the first slot for the first turn that he has guaranteed guard. But even then, you probably take a lot of damage if it's a higher tier red zone. Like, he probably wouldn't even tank Cell Max. But now we have a decent rotation here, where he has pretty much all of these links activated except for Royal Lineage, but nobody cares about that. And then we have the Shadow Dragon Saga buff, which will increase his attack by 80%. And of course, being a 2nd slot, he gets an extra 40%. And everybody's supporting him. His defense is 236. After 2 turns of super attacking. So let's see what's his attack stat now. Should I be impressed here? 5 million, not bad. It's just such a big setup to do. I don't know how you'd get that on a regular basis. Unless you were purposely running a full Shadow Dragon Saga team. Or you were sacrificing his links. Or if you're not providing him any support, really. But maybe... as a free-to-play unit, you don't really care about his attacks, so maybe he's just, regardless, just put him in the first slot as a high chance guarder. I don't know if I like that idea. But if the defense here is calculated as soon as the attack goes, he's at least almost 400,000. And then when he super attacks, he'll be above 400,000. So if he guards here, I think he is looking really good. And at least it's not as bad as Kaioken Goku, where you have to grab 3 rainbow orbs. Here, you don't have to worry about it. There's no other restriction, which is good, other than being in slot 1, which he didn't even get the guard. And without the Shadow Dragon Saga buff, he's still at 3 million, which is still pretty decent. He won't have the medium chance to critical, though. And then the first slot here, he's tanking really well because he raises his defense by 30%. I think he's alright of a unit. It's just such a risky character to bring. That's it. So we're going to end this off with a Dokkan mode here. If I was to recommend anything, I would go with maximum dodge, just so you can have a chance to dodge all of the first slot hits. Because I think post-super and first slot, he's actually pretty defensively good. And then the rest additional, don't worry about the crit. I feel like even though his attack can look good, it's just not worth it here. He already has a medium chance to crit if you have a Shadow Dragon Saga ally on the same turn. But he's just at 200,000. You just have to hope that he guards there or dodges a super attack. I think he takes normal attacks just fine. So not too bad of a unit. Not too bad. I'm looking at him as a defensive unit. That's it. So I wanted to add this in at the end of the video. I always run them on free-to-play teams, but I want to see what happens if you run it on a double 200% leader. We do have Cell Max, and we have guaranteed guard, so we're going to find out if he is worth to bring on your Vegeta's family, since we don't really care about the attack anyway. We don't need the Shadow Dragon's buff. So let's see how he tanks on the first charge of Cell. Here comes the first super. Remember, this is guaranteed guard. 130,000 defense is not the greatest. 150. 54. Now, he will raise his defense by 30% here and the 60% attack defense on super. And now he's taking double digits. Let's see how the super attack here goes. 67. So far, so good. So far, so good. At least he tanked the first turn. And remember, that could be any typing. It doesn't have to be AJ. At least he survived 2 supers. Tanks the normals. That's more than all you can ask, right? So now we're on to his second turn. We can just keep him in the first slot. 151,000. Let's just hope that we can at least guard it in that first slot. High chance. And we do. That is beautiful. 18,000 on a normal attack. It's still pretty terrible. You'd hope that, like, at least he double super attacks here. This should now be double digits. So that concludes the showcase of the GT Super Saiyan Vegeta from the World Tournament. Let me know what you guys think about his EZA. Shoutouts to my Tier 2 members on the side here. If you want to become a member yourself, starting from $1, you can find it linked in the description or click on the join button. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video as always, since we have daily content here on the channel.